Assalamu alaikum. So last episode we talked about some of the benefits of off-grid living. We talked about the financial aspects, how it doesn't take as much money to live this way, and you can make your money go a lot further instead of working yourself into the ground 60 hours a week trying to have a nice place. Your money's able to go a lot further by living off the grid and not being connected to the energy and living a more simpler, old-fashioned lifestyle where you grow your own food, etc. And we talked about the health benefits, that the food is good, it's clean, that what you're putting into your body is good and clean and fresh, and you know where it comes from. And we talked about how it helps you build confidence and character and build self-esteem, and that you are doing things and you're completing projects and you're learning new things, doing things that you don't know how to do and figuring out how to do it, and just trying your best to live a happy life, and you see the results of your work rather than working for somebody else day in and day out, and you come home and all your work you left at work. So this week I thought I would focus more on the spiritual aspects of it and behind it. I did want to mention real quick, in the last episode I said that it's not for everybody. Not everybody, it's not everybody's thing, but my brother corrected me and he said that he thinks that it is for everybody. That, if it's really the most original way of living, when God created human beings, the basic original way of living that he created for us was to live off the land. But that being said, that doesn't mean that's the only way that you can live. There's people are free to live in urban settings as well, and you can get by just as good in an urban setting also. But my opinion is that you have a much more fuller life, physically, healthily, and even spiritually, by living away from the wheel, sort of thing. It's easier from a spiritual perspective. For me, anyway, it has been much easier to focus on my religion, and there's less distractions, less pressure to conform to what the mainstream ideals are, the ones that I disagree with. It's easier to not be pressured into conforming just a little bit to make everybody else happy, or to get by, or to to fit in, type thing. So to me, living off the land, you pretty much at home most of the time, and you have a lot of work to do. You got all your food to tend to every day, make sure there's no weeds, and so you really don't have time to get caught up in what everybody else is doing. You have so much, you have enough to do yourself. If you want to have a good life, then you got to get out there. And so from a spiritual aspect, I felt like it made me closer to my religion and made it easier for me to practice my religion, living off-grid. This, less distractions, less pressure to conform, basically. And if you see other ideals than what you believe, and they're in your face day after day after day, then after a while you do start to question, does it really have to be like this? Or maybe if we just meet in the middle, and they're doing it like this over here, so maybe if we just come this way a little bit more, and eventually a little bit more and a little bit more, until pretty soon you've lost all your morals, or all what you believe to be the true way. So being a little bit separate, where you have space to just not have it in your face all the time, day after day after day after day. You know, you go to town, you mix with people, but every day on a daily basis, you're at home with your family, and you can practice what you feel is right. And I think living off the grid really helps with that in a lot of ways, because you're just a little bit separate. You got your own little kingdom, property, haven, so to speak. And then, when you go around other people, you can mix with them and hopefully show them that there is a better way.
I think another thing about the slower pace of life that comes with living off the grid, you have more time to sit and smell the roses, so to speak, to notice the beautiful scenery, the clouds, the sky, and it also gives you a lot more time for self-reflection. You're not bombarded by this fast pace. You have a kind of a slower pace where you're outside working, and the elements, you feel the wind on your face, and you feel the sun on you, and the rain hitting you in the head. And it just causes you to reflect on more important things, and it makes you think deeper because you're not in such a rush. You can think about improving your character. Why am I here? Of course, in Islam, our religion teaches that the reason that we are here is to worship God. That is our main reason for being on this earth. But the slower pace it helps you to build character in so many ways. You're at home with your family day after day, and it improves your communication skills because you have to communicate with these people in a nice, feasible way, where you're not bickering and fighting all the time. And if it's just you and them all the time, that's all that there is. You learn to work together. You learn that working together as a team, you can get a lot more work done. And you have to be the type of person that others can work with and can get along with. You have to learn to compromise. You can't have everything your way. You have to compromise a little bit so that everybody gets a little of what they need. I think it causes you to have more empathy. You empathize with your neighbor or with people who have less than you. You understand what it's like not to have food, because, if one of your crops fails, then, say your corn fails, then you don't have any corn this year unless you buy some elsewhere. And so when you hear of somebody doing without, and you also appreciate things better because, it was so much work growing that corn and weeding it, planting the seeds, watering it, fertilizing it. You put so much into it, and you appreciate it so much more because you realize what it really takes to actually get food. It's not like you just go to the store and pick something off the shelf, to actually grow food from a seed or from a small plant, and, raise it up all the way until you're able to get produce from it. It really makes you appreciate it more and realize that, it's a lot of these type of things, the simple things, are really taken for granted. In the city, there's so many man-made structures and buildings, and not that there's not in the country as well, but you have so much more space and time to just reflect and, like I said, think about the important things of life and build character and so on. And the other thing is fun, like, the type of fun that you have out in the rural area living off the grid versus the type of fun that you have in the city. For a start, usually you can find something entertaining to do that doesn't cost any money. And money is not, as you know, you're trying to make your money go further, so you want to try to find entertainment which doesn't cost money. Whereas, mainstream people are consumed with video games and music and social media, and all these things cost money to run. In order for them to have fun, they have to spend money. Versus good fun, for us would be, packing a picnic lunch and going for a long ride, and maybe meeting some friends halfway from another town, and we meet halfway in the middle and stop somewhere and have lunch together and socialize. And if you're at home most of the time working the farm, being able to go and socialize is really enjoyable fun that you would take for granted. And I think at the end of the day, you're able to focus on the important things of life. Where are you going? What legacy will you leave behind at the end of the day? The knowledge that you learn, so much knowledge is needed to live off the land. And a lot of this knowledge is passed from generation to generation. And so being able to have something to be proud of that you spent your life accomplishing, and being able to pass that on to the next generation, these are the type of things that I think it's spiritually, people are so busy in a faster paced world that they don't really have time to sit and reflect on these things, and therefore they act accordingly. They don't treat people right, and because they're too busy, they know they shouldn't do it, but they're so busy and they got to keep up, and it's a dog eat dog world. Versus this lifestyle, you can't survive on your own. You can, but you need help, and you have to take some and give some. And so you appreciate people more. You appreciate help when you get it, and you feel more willing to help others because you know how hard it is when you don't have help. And so I think these are some of the spiritual benefits of living off the grid. Just the slower paced life, and being able to focus on important things, and realizing that life is, everybody's going to have to die at some point. And so what legacy are you leaving behind as a person? What is the important things? The important things is not really having money and having the latest and the greatest and the newest, or having life just so easy that you don't have to do anything. The important things are, how you treated people, the simple memories, taking time with your family members, with your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren, your children, your parents, and so on. Spending a life, helping each other, and living life to the fullest, enjoying life, but in a way that's not harming and stepping on other people. And so these are some of the benefits, I would say more spiritual benefits, of living off the land that I think people don't realize and are undervalued unless you actually live the life.